Peter, tell us a bit more about Ambassador Sondland next week. We all thought we were going to hear from him earlier this week. His lawyer put out a statement saying he wanted to, but alas, he was a no-show.
Yeah, Stephanie, this is a dramatic change that just took place. Receiving this email in my inbox about 15 minutes ago from the attorneys representing the ambassador to the European Union, Gordon Sondland. You'll remember earlier this week he was scheduled to testify voluntarily. The State Department then told him he could not do that. Then there was a subpoena issued by House Democrats demanding his testimony. Also demanding.
Tom, let's start with you. What charges have been laid?
Basically here, it's 4 primary charges, Ali, and it has to do with 2 counts of conspiracy tied to that foreign donation scheme that you laid out. Also has to do with falsifying records and falsifying records to the FEC. When you make a political contribution, if you're going to make it with respect to a pro-Trump super PAC, if you're going to say that it's coming from a specific company, an energy company that these 2 people started, it in fact has to come from there. It can't come from a loan or some other monetary means, which is what they're charged with here. And basically, what the U.S. Attorney's Office has laid out through the course of this grand jury indictment today is a scheme to take money from a foreign national who they don't identify and inject it at various points into the U.S. political system.
A new twist in the impeachment inquiry. 2 associates of Rudy Giuliani, who were to appear before Congress today and tomorrow, have been arrested on charges of violating campaign finance law. The 2, Lev Parnas and Igor Fruman, were apprehended at Dulles International Airport in Washington with one-way tickets out of the country. This afternoon, a U.S. attorney in New York and Assistant Director of the FBI laid out the severity of the charges and how they strike at the heart of our democratic system.
They sought political influence not only to advance their own financial interests, but to advance the political interests of at least one foreign official, a Ukrainian government official who sought the dismissal of the U.S. ambassador to Ukraine.
These allegations are not about some technicality, a civil violation, or an error on a form. This investigation is about corrupt behavior, deliberate lawbreaking.
To examine these latest developments and how the American public views them, our own Lisa Desjardins and Yamiche Alcindor. Hello to both of you. So much going on. Yamiche, I'm going to come to you first. Tell us who these men are and what is their connection to Rudy Giuliani.
Well, the allegations laid out against them are very serious in this 21-page indictment. Pranas and Fruman are accused of trying to channel and funnel foreign money into U.S. elections to try to interfere with U.S. elections. They're accused of setting up a company to amass hundreds of thousands of dollars of donations to foreign.
Amid all of this, President Trump is heading to Minneapolis right now for a political rally tonight. Our chief White House correspondent Jim Acosta is on the scene for us in Minneapolis. Jim, new complications for the Trump team tonight.
That's right, Wolf. The president is on his way to Minneapolis for this rally tonight. But before he left the White House, he talked to reporters. He was asked about those 2 Giuliani associates who are facing federal charges. The president said he didn't know those 2 associates of Rudy Giuliani, didn't know what they were up to. He said when asked about their activities over in Ukraine, he told reporters, "You'll have to ask Rudy." With 2 men involved in his personal attorney Rudy Giuliani's efforts to dig up dirt on Joe Biden, now suddenly indicted on campaign finance violations, President Trump sounded off to reporters as he left for a rally in Minneapolis.
I don't know them. I don't know about them. I don't know what they do. But I don't know. Maybe they were clients of Rudy. You'd have to ask Rudy. I just don't know.
The arrests of Giuliani associates Igor Fruman and Lev Parnas as they were allegedly trying to flee the country are only adding to calls from Democrats for the president's outside lawyer to testify in the impeachment inquiry.
Giuliani's been involved up to his neck in this entire mess. He has an obligation to testify under oath so he can be asked questions and so this can come to light.
The president's lead impeachment lawyer, Jay Sekulow, responded in a brief statement, "Read the indictment. Neither the candidate nor the campaign have anything to do with the scheme these."
The former ambassador that Paula just mentioned is scheduled to answer questions today as part of the Democrats' impeachment inquiry. Nancy Cordes is on Capitol Hill with more on that story. Nancy, what can you tell us about her?
Well, that former ambassador is Marie Jovanovic. She is a 33-year-old veteran of the Foreign Service with a sterling reputation. But she was suddenly recalled to Washington in May after Rudy Giuliani complained that she was blocking his efforts to get Ukraine to investigate the Bidens. So Democrats want to know if there was political retribution at play here. Her name came up in President Trump's July 25th phone call with the president of Ukraine. Mr. Trump said Jovanovic was, quote, bad news and that she's going to go through some things. One of the great mysteries here on Capitol Hill is whether she is going to show up this morning. A source close to her says that she wants to tell her story, but that State Department official.
CBS News has obtained the full contents of the whistleblower memo at the center of the House impeachment inquiry. And a Fox News poll released yesterday shows 51% of registered voters believe President Trump should be impeached and removed from office. That's an increase of 9% in the past 3 months. Weijia Zhang is at the White House. Weijia, what more do we know about the whistleblower?
Well, Anthony, right now we are talking about this memo because President Trump continues to call it a scam, pointing to the whistleblower being a registered Democrat. CBS News has learned that the person has a prior working relationship with a current Democratic presidential contender. But lawyers say their client has never worked for or advised a political party or a campaign and say the real issue here is the president's conduct and not the whistleblower's resume.
I had a perfect phone call with the president of Ukraine.
The whistleblower's two-page memo memorializes how a White House official who was listening in described President Trump's phone call as crazy, frightening, and completely lacking in substance related to national security. The official was visibly shaken. The president's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, tells CBS News the memo discredits the whistleblower's formal complaint. This poor little sissy was all worried. Nobody was threatening anyone. But in the official's view, Mr. Trump had clearly committed a criminal act.
He should be impeached.
On Wednesday, former Vice President Joe Biden joined his fellow 2020 presidential candidates and called for President Trump's impeachment for the first time.
He's shooting holes in the Constitution, and we cannot let him get away with it.
Biden also told CBS Boston station WBZ that he did nothing wrong as vice president, while his son Hunter served on the board of a Ukrainian energy company.
I don't discuss things with my son or my family because I don't want to have any knowledge of any. I don't want to be accused of, well, you talk with your son or you talk with your whomever.
Biden's camp says he changed his mind on impeachment, in part because of the president's decision this week to refuse to cooperate with Congress.
The whole thing is a scam. It's a fix.
With or without President Trump's cooperation, Democrats are charging forward with their investigation. CBS News has learned that the 3 House committees working on this have requested that Fiona Hill, the president's former senior director for Russia on the National Security Council, testify next week. Tony?
All right, Weijia, thank you very much.
Under the blanket of the very freedom that I provide, and then questions the manner in which I provide it. I would rather you just said thank you and went on your way. Otherwise, I suggest you pick up a weapon and stand a post. Either way, I don't give a damn what you think you are entitled to. Did you order the code red?